Hey gang, Carl White here, and you are listening to Loan Officer Freedom, the bestest podcast for loan officers ever. Bestest, is that a word? I think it is. Hey, um, I got a great topic for you today. This one has moved the needle for me as much as anything else I've done. And did you know that the shortest distance between you and a new client might just be a great story? So if you're thinking, hey, Carl, hang on a second. I'm not a storyteller. Don't worry. Neither was I until I realized that this wasn't about, like, telling a story is not about having a silver tongue. It's about having a simple formula. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exactly how story selling works, why it's one of the most powerful tools in your business, and how to start using it immediately. And if you're even if you're like me back then and you think you're not great at telling stories. So by the way, I just recently asked AI. I was doing a little project, and I asked AI. I said, "Show me Mark Twain wearing a mortgage marketing animal shirt," and the image it spit out looked more like a gorilla who just had a bad day. But it gave me an idea that because Mark Twain, whether he knew it or not, was one of the first and best salespeople in American history. And it wasn't that he was pitching a product, but because his words moved a nation, right? Maybe the English speaking world, right? They remembered him, they repeated him, they trusted him. That's what we're going for here, right? We want people to remember us, repeat what we're saying, perhaps agents repeating it to our prospects, our past database, repeating it to their friends, family, or coworker that's looking to buy, sell, or refinance, right? We're looking for them to remember you, repeat you, and trust you, right? That's what we're doing here. So I built a multi-million dollar business, not by being the slickest talker in the room. I'm sure you've surmised by that. Even if this is your first podcast that you listen to me, uh, you've already surmised I'm not the slickest talker in the room. But how I created a multi-million dollar business in large part was by telling stories that made people say, I get that. That sounds like me. Or I get that story, that situation. That sounds like my story, my situation, right? That's it. And the power of a story, well, story selling just catapulted my business, right? And there was a time when I'd show up to a realtor meeting and I'd rattle off all the reasons why they should work with me, right? The standard, great communication, on time closes, competitive rates, and all that's good stuff, right? And that's a fine thing to say. It is. But, other people were saying that same kind of thing too. I got competitive rates. But the minute I started telling stories, like the time, like the time a single mom almost lost her deal and how we scrambled to save it in 3 days, people leaned in. They remembered me and then they referred to me. So stories stick, numbers they slide off, right? They're forgettable, but stories aren't. Stories stick. And I'm telling you, it's not a talent, it's not a gift, it's a structure, right? It's a learned structure. And the formula that I've used for over 20 years now is kind of a five-part formula. It's the setup, the struggle, the shift, the solution, and the success, right? The setup, the struggle, the shift, the solution, the success. So, so like the setup is just where you start with a simple, relatable situation. A couple had just fallen in love in the house, but, and then you talk about the struggle, right? When the struggle is like you share the tension or conflict, right? You tighten the spring, so to speak. So a course had fallen in love with the house, but their previous lender told them it couldn't be done. Right? That's the struggle. Right? The shift, which is what introduces the insight or introduces the solution. So the shift, we took a different approach. Started with their big picture first, right? You don't have to go deep into the story. The story doesn't have to be, this one time at band camp. Like it doesn't need to be this like long story, like this little short things, right? So the setup, the struggle, their previous lender told them it couldn't be done. The shift, we took a different approach, started with their big picture first. The solution, number four is a solution. Show how you fix the issue, right? We reran the numbers, added a co-borrower, and boom, approved. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. By the way, I cannot tell you how many loans that we've closed, and it was because the person previous to it, like just simple stuff, like simple, right? And so just because somebody's turned down, don't give up on them, right? Because oftentimes it's something very easy to fix, right? We reran the numbers, added a co-borrower, boom, approved. Like I don't know why they didn't think the last lender didn't think about adding a co-borrower, but hey, we've all had our bad days, right? I know I have. The next one is so we had the setup, the struggle, the shift, the solution, and then the success, right? Success. Like what was the outcome? They moved in 3 weeks later and just sent me a picture of the kids playing on their little playground in the backyard, like something like that. So when you tell a story like that, you're no longer a salesperson. You're like a Sherpa, you're a guide. You're the one who helped the hero win. By the way, when I tell the stories, I'm not the hero. My subject is. Like I'm not the hero when I talk about helping a loan officer going from 3 closings to 21 closings. Like it's not like, well, I did it all, and because of me, they did this. Like that's so uncool to say that. Is I paint the person that did it as the hero because frankly, they are the hero, right? A lot of them will hear the message. A few will actually act on it, right? And we notice that those seem to have pretty darn good results, right? So you're not a salesperson. You're a guide. You're a Sherpa. You're the one that helped the hero win, right? And that's the story your clients will repeat for you. So Carl, where do you use your storytelling or your story selling? Consults, like when you're walking borrowers through options, agent meetings, when you're earning trust, follow-up calls, like if somebody's gone dark or ghosted me, video content, love it for video content. And this is when you're trying to stand out online, which is a very noisy stadium, or social media, not just video, but regular social media, when you want to attract, not chase. You want to attract, not chase. So here's a quick story I recently told about a first-time homebuyer couple. Like this is just very simple stuff. So like if somebody was giving an objection of, is now the right time to buy the house, I would say, one of my past clients, Jane and John Doe, felt that same way. They asked that same question. They were nervous, unsure if this was the right time, but we showed them a loan program they didn't even know existed. And today they're paying less on their mortgage than what they were paying in rent. That's it. See, these stories don't need to be 5 minutes long. And that little story, that's not sales, that's story selling. And I'm telling you, it works like magic. All right, so here's your homework for this week. I want you to think of one recent client win, right? Everybody's got one, right? Well, think of one recent client win and then write it out using that 5-step structure that I gave and then share it, right? It's just that simple. And tell it on your next consult, like post it on Facebook, share it at your next office meeting, or do a little quick video using your iPhone. By the way, you don't need all this fancy video setup these days. man, the iPhone or your Droid phone, it takes incredible videos, right? You just have to have the structure. That's it. Just have the structure. Hey, if you want to master this with me and go deeper on this topic, which I totally recommend that you do, this has really moved the needle for me, and I'd like to think it would be for you too. But if you want to go deeper with this with me in our training program, come join us. So we'll give you here in the Mortgage Marketing Animals, we'll give you the scripts, the formulas, give you video feedback. I've got a whole training. I got a three-part module just on this story selling. And in the training, I give 10 story samples about common borrowers, how they overcame the problem, ended up with the American dream. I've got 10 sample stories of how you may have helped real estate agents to share with other agents. And the idea is just to get your creative juices going to see the simple structure of a story. Right? It's very, very simple stuff. So I'd love to help you with this. Just go to getmoreloans.com, and check out how we're helping loan officers turn stories into closings every day. So getmoreloans.com. Take action on this stuff, right? Do something. Don't just listen to podcast episodes. Start telling your stories. It just removes all the barriers and like I call it the barrier of trust. It lowers the walls so that you become more trustworthy when they hear the stories. Stories are nothing more than, like a review on Amazon, right? When you're telling this story, you're saying, "Hey, here's how I help somebody." It's you giving a testimony about yourself, but in a very cool, receptive way, right? It's not seen as salesy at all, right? So I love story selling. So, all right, well, that's it for today's episode of Loan Officer Freedom here. Hey, if this hit home for you, do me a favor, share it with a friend, a teammate, your branch, someone you think could benefit from using their words to make real impact. And make sure you hit subscribe. So we've got another killer episode coming up here where I'll show you how just 3 hours a day can out earn someone working 10 hours a day. Real thing, real stuff. So, all right, I think that's it. Until then, go tell a story that changes somebody's life. And I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you on the next episode. And I'll talk to you when you call in at getmoreloans.com. Thanks again. Talk to you when you call in.